Nomás tenemos que moverla ahí para que no se... Ok.
Doctor Mancada, ¿tiene mi presentación ahí también?
Sí, ok. ¿Cómo le quito eso? Básicamente afuera.
El background.
Aquí
Sí. Y con adelante.
le pongo none. That's what I did last time, but it wouldn't work. I have a green screen. It wouldn't work.
No se ponga seria en mi lipstick, doctor Mancada.
¿Mande?
No se ponga seria en mi lipstick.
Pero no agarran, mire, no me hace caso, no van a adjust for low light, customer experience, HD video. No sé cómo quitarlo para que no salga lo azul de acá de atrás. ¿Listo, background? ¿No? Puedo cambiar eso, pero cuando pongo nada no se quita.
Ahí está la luna.
Ahí no, pero cuando le pongo nada no se quita, se queda azul. Gosh, so weird. O sea, no tiene que aguantar en azulito.
Recording in progress.
Sí, dijo que yo de Navidad es que se iba a meter. Pero si no se mete, usted lo va a hacer o va a querer que porque me usted se
Va a andar en Puerto Rico, déjalo que se divierta.
no, pero es que como me dijo, si no me puedo meter, lo haces por la parte de doctor Moncada la otra, pero dije yo no me puedo.
We can do it.
Doctor Moncada se la avienta el solo.
Ahí está uno ya. I need ice, please.
¿Qué le preguntan?
Okay. Llévate para que más grande.
So we need to get you an actual like ice bucket.
Y señora,
From
la
that,
señora
so-
Pamela, y al que tengo dijo que she might be running a little bit late.
Well, she's the only one coming in person. One more minute. There's one. Hi, Dr. Monahan.
Hi, Dr. McKenna. How are you today?
Good, thank you.
Good.
You're missing on Panda.
Do I have anything I want? I'm sorry.
You're missing on Panda. We are eating Panda tonight.
Panda Express. Oh, gee. I do like that. That's too bad. Well, enjoy.
Thank you.
And I'm the only one so far?
There's two more that I need to let log in.
Oh, okay. Very good.
Everybody's online except Pam.
Okay.
We have Miss Sylvia Ferrigno and Dr. Medina joining us as well.
Good morning.
Morning.
Can you guys hear us okay on the mic?
Yes,
Yes.
my headset's charging. It'll be on in just a minute. It got overused. It got overused today.
Está fría la comida.
I see a baby on the screen.
Let's call the meeting to order. It's 5 o'clock and see if we have quorum.
There's John Hill. We only have 3 people so far.
We have 4 board members, right?
3.
Sylvia was there, Ed and I, it's 3. Oh, you're right.
For some reason, do not have to go over there on the top to share stuff.
Would you say, boss?
To share stuff. I don't know where to go back.
Go back to where you were? With that.
I can share my screen.
Let's go to more. And then it'll- Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, they must have changed that whole outlay.
They did. It's confusing. No, how am I gonna know when somebody likes it?
Right, can you still, I was like, yeah, you should still be.
¿Cómo siguió su mamá? Y tiene que salir.
Do we have a quorum yet?
Not yet.
Hello?
Pam was the only one coming in person and she's not here yet. There's somebody else coming in, I don't know who
Oh,
that is.
entonces me lo pidió. Oh, ahí sí. Ok, I'm sorry.
Buenas tardes, who are you?
Te miro pidiendo los usuarios, pero no me recibí, te lo pedí.
Is it a board member?
I do not know.
Don't know yet.
Staff, can you please put Elena Olo, Giovanni Navarro, and David Elias Castillo, and Aiden Gonzalez against.
Yeah, we used to, but I don't know how.
The treasurer.
I know.
Ahí está, doctora Silvia. Estaba
Ahí
en.
está, siempre se ponía en un. Ahí está. Perfecto, thank you.
I texted them, let's see who joins first. All we need is one more person.
Necesito cambiarlo. El mensaje. Es que me levanto a las 4.
Me he estado levantando toda la sala. Mucha ansiedad.
You were up beginning the other day.
I can't go back to sleep.
Oh, I see I see Tim, so I believe we are at quorum.
Or was Tim? Yes, we do. Let me close the door. Okay. Okay, we do have a quorum, we can start. Thank you, everybody, for being here. We have Kyle, Zaira, Ms. Carla, Dr. Rivera, Ms. Weeks, Ms. Isabel, and Ms. Anaya, translator, here with me.
I'd like to call the meeting to order at 5:06 PM. I myself am present, Dr. Monahan, Sylvia, not Alex, not Elma. Is Noemi online?
Oh, Pamela just showed up.
Okay, so Pamela's here and Timothy. So we have 5 members and we have 3 absents. But that does constitute a quorum.
Yes.
Can you scroll up the agenda? I guess I could print mine out. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion to approve or disapprove the agenda for this evening. At this time, if anybody has any additions or deletions, this is where you make them. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Also,
I motion to approve that agenda. Sylvia, is that you making the motion? Yeah. Okay, and then Dr. Monahan was your second.
I'll second that, yes.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda for November 19th, 2025. Anyone opposed, say no. All in favor, say yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
The motion carries. Move on to the minutes of October 15th. Is there a motion to approve those minutes?
Yeah, just,
Been moved by Sylvia. Is there a second?
I'll second.
And can you all say names since many of us are working remotely tonight?
Pam.
Pam, it's been seconded by Pam, moved by Sylvia to approve the minutes of our last meeting. Is there any discussion? Hearing no discussion. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Anyone opposed, say no. Motion passes. Minutes of October 15th, 2025 have been approved. Our next item, let me scroll down. Our public comments. Is there anyone in the public that would like to address the board with any comments? I only have a couple of things and I yield more of my time to anyone on the board who'd like to report on any of their board activities. I attended the audit teleconference meeting. I think I've attended twice since our last meeting, but I could be misinformed. And I also was receiving some comments from a few staff members that I'll bring to the attention of the administrative team at a later date. And then lastly, I was unable to attend the board meeting, but I want to offer my appreciation to those who were able to attend the APS school board meeting and to thank the staff and congratulate them on a successful renewal process. That's all I have for this evening. Anyone else?
This is Sylvia. I just want to let you guys know that I attended, I think it was yesterday, the Thanksgiving lunch for for Christian Duncan for the pre-K, and it was really nice. Before the was born, there was a lot of families, and for the pre-K, it was like we needed more time, so there were so many family members, and nobody wanted to leave.
Thank you for doing that. Some of you may know I've been under the weather. I didn't feel like sharing. So thank you for attending, Sylvia. And I saw pictures from Dr. Moncada. Thank you for forwarding those. Any other board member have anything they'd like to share?
I think a number of us were at the fall festival too.
Oh,
Back in October, and it was very successful, a huge turnout by parents in the community. And I was able to attend the renewal with Dr. Moncada and students, and it was successful. And we're again, I think in my email, I expressed that to Dr. Moncada to thank the staff and the administrative team for the excellent preparation and the work they've done to achieve that.
Thank you, Dr. Monahan. Thank you, Dr. Medina. And Sylvia.
any other board member? I was able to use my old softball skills and assist Principal Case Benavides in taking a quick shower before the Fall Festival.
It was part of the game.
Yeah, that was a really good game, serious. And then the children that they had, they were delicious.
Finance Committee, Sylvia?
Hello, this is Zoya. Well, we met last week on Wednesday, Mr. Kyle, Mr. Moncada, and part of it was Mr. Benavides. And as you guys noticed on the report, we are a little bit low. We still waiting some RFRs to be deposited. And we're still waiting in some reimbursements, but Mr. Kyle can go through that more detailedly. And also we decided to have a little hold on the construction, just to make sure that we get all the RFRs how they're supposed to be, and we're good to go.
Anything else from the Finance Committee? Okay, it's now 5:13 and I'll move on to the Audit Committee. That's me, and I have only one thing I reported previously in my President's report, and that is I attended the audit conference and have read the audit report. Facilities Committee, 5:14, Mr. Woodward.
Like Sylvia mentioned, there's going to be a hold on construction for now. The only thing that's been changed is wrapping up most construction. And there's been some private contractors that we're entertaining on using for the finishing up of the second portion of kind of wrapping up the bathrooms. Most construction is almost done that we initially had running, so just finishing up that bathroom for the middle school. And that's really the cluster 2 bathrooms.
Was the issue of hold on construction cost or just waiting for more resources, or what was the rationale for the hold?
RFPs and also just for budget status, just to kind of see what we're having for, as far as coming in and going out. And most of the projects that are initially decided on, like the bathrooms, it's just finishing up, which we already negotiated with contractors as well. So just wrapping those up and not starting anything new.
Does anyone else have any questions for any of the committee reports we've held so far? I'm trying to read the agenda, but it cuts off. What's next?
Hold on. Mr. Benavides wants to-
I'm printing my copy so I can.
Dr. Moncada.
Can you all hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Those-
Okay, so no,
Good
I'm
to
just
see
gonna
you.
add on a little more to the construction that we are currently on hold, just mostly trying to replenish our funds. We did complete the drive about, we did complete that, the new location of the portable. The bathrooms, cluster 1 and 3 are complete, so those are the middle school bathrooms and the pre-K kindergarten bathrooms, the 4 of them, those were complete. So all of that, along with the drainage system and the wiring from our current school to what was the south, or what is the south campus, so now we have full internet over there. All that's been complete. We hired our own maintenance contractor person, and he's working on the 3rd, 4th bathrooms and making good progress on those. Probably within a month, I would say we can have those will be done as well.
Are there any questions? Thank you, Casey.
No problem.
Any further questions from anyone on the not on the committees? So next on our agenda is the Student Achievement and Strategic Plan. Dr. Monahan?
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Medina. We have not met during this past month. And our next meeting will probably occur in November, December, late November, early December. We will be working with Dr. Wakata in December with regards to the board retreat and the reporting out of the results from 24-25 that he shared with us just recently. So we don't have anything to report right now, but we anticipate being next month.
Actually, we do have something to report, Dr. Monahan. We made 2% gains in reading and 3% gains in math.
Oh, I thought that was going to come later. Okay, I didn't. Well, if we're going to do that, I actually wrote down. Thank you, Dr. Wakata. Dr. Wakata, I did look at the email and see if you presented this to everybody, but what I took down in notes was that in New Mexico Vistas, the aggregate score, I think it's based on 1 to 100, I'm not sure, for each school is rated. In New Mexico Vistas, the CDHA metric went from 46.9 to 47.7. So it was an improvement. There were some incremental gains in math and reading. And science, there was a different test, and it was a giant step sort of backwards. So it went from a higher percentage to 15%. But the growth was in math and reading. APS experienced 25% growth and 50% growth. We experienced, we experienced 48% growth for our students in APS 50%, and in reading, we had 49% growth, and APS had 43% growth in reading. So we'll talk more about this later on, I'm sure. We had many more students on track ELL, 26% compared to APS, they had 16. And our attendance was 84% last year, and that was one of our goals. And APS was 69%. So there was some gains in attendance, and we'll talk more about this later. But overall, there were increases in content area and language, and then also attendance. Okay, that's it.
This is what we should do a deep dive in at our meeting that we've, Dr. McCullough has secured a space for us to meet during the charter school meeting. And we should take a close look at this data and see what our board goals will continue to be.
Thank you, Dr. Monahan.
Our next item on the agenda is the teacher report. Do we have a teacher reporting tonight?
We sure do. We have Ms. Carla Campos here with us, and she actually sent me a nice presentation. Let me see if I can share it here with you.
Okay, so we're now at 5:20.
Okay, I'm the fourth grade teacher, and so there's a lot of events that were happening the last couple of weeks. But last week, fifth grade teacher and myself were invited to be part of a panel to showcase the math strategies we are implementing in the classroom. And it was a 4S cube, so it's part of the trainings we have been attending. I have been implementing these strategies for about 5 years now, so it was a perfect opportunity to share what students have been doing. So there's a picture of that. We also got La Cosecha visit that same week. A group of other teachers were selected to answer questions regarding our school, our culture, the strategies we use, our model. So you can see another picture of what that was like. And then with that, we go to the APS site visit, which was very successful. My fourth grade class and seventh grade, sixth grade Spanish language arts class actually worked together to, Mr. Can you scroll down a little bit, please? We worked together to show how we collaborate within the grade levels. So fourth grade and Spanish language arts students collaborated during the Hispanic Heritage Month. Students gave presentation on influential Hispanic figures in Latin American countries. So it was all tailored to my fourth grade students. And you can see pictures there. Fourth grade has been attending field trips to support GLAD units. One was the field trip to Casa San Isidro, which supports the trade routes in New Mexico GLAD unit. And then we also went to the Water Authority and the Bosque. And this one supports the Earth Systems GLAD unit. We also had the book fair, which was very successful. A big shout out to our parent liaisons. We have also been working hard to promote reading at home and for fun. Coming up, please. We have, so kinder and fifth grade teachers are working on numerals, which is similar to letters but for math. So we're really trying to hit those math scores and continue growth. 5 teachers are working on letters volume 2, and 11 new teachers are working on letters for volume 1. Upcoming, we have the English Spelling Bee, so we are working on preparing students for that event, and we are also preparing students for the winter program. December 17 and 18, we have divided the students because we're also taking them to the Christmas Mariachi, which is another culturally responsive field trip that aligns with New Mexico standards. And that is it for my report. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Ms. Carla. You should have come over here. I'm sorry, tell me.
Well, as usual, CDHE has done a great job in showcasing our programs and our students. So thank you and all the teachers for your preparation for the site visit and also for the visit during La Cosecha. Thank you. Are there any questions from other board members to our teacher?
Muchas gracias, Ms. Carla. Thank you for taking the time to put a little PowerPoint together.
Thank you.
So we're now at 5:24 and we are ready for our executive director report and principal's report.
Okay, do you want me to go first, Dr. Moncada, or do you want to go first?
I'll start off and then I'll let you do that.
Chip in.
Okay, so Casey and I did a report together. Our enrollment is 598 students, including pre-K. Or actually 584. We have the 80th Day of War coming up on December 1st, right after we get back from Thanksgiving break. I put a copy of the CDHA strategic plan update and data update on here. If you click on the links, it should take you there. I'm very pleased to inform everyone that we got approved our charter renewal. And this year was a little different. They had a lot of Google surveys going on for the board, protocols, site visits to talk to us about the renewal process. They requested students to be present, so we took two wonderful seventh graders and did a terrific job over there. And then we had a follow-up survey on our experience through the renewal process. So that is done and over with. We were all congratulated at a meeting with APS charter school leaders yesterday. And they were very impressed about the work we're all are doing. If you want to see the recording for the board meeting, there's a link right there for you to go through the YouTube video to get to the APS board meeting. Ms. Zaida Brambila and I attended a meeting for E-rate. It seems like we'll be getting 97,000 worth of E-rate funding over the next 5 years. And Zaida and I went to a meeting on October 17th to see, to hear more about navigating E-rate. And then I attended a meeting with New Mexico Coalition of Educational Leaders, New Mexico CEL, on October 20th. Representing the Association of Bilingual Education in Mexico, and it was very interesting to be there. I hadn't been there in a while. They did talk a lot about what's coming down the pipe with ERB. There's a lot of new regulations for the return to work employees. And they're trying to change the legislation for those changes coming out because it will affect all third-party contractors. So teachers who retire work through CES or ACES or the RECs, a lot of them will have more, I guess, limitations on what they can do as contractors. So that was interesting to be there. They also talked about the legislative platform, what the superintendents and other entities are pushing forward.
Recording in progress.
Dr. Rivera and I attended a New Mexico PD. Casey, te voy a colgar porque ya te veo en Zoom.
Okay.
And then Dr. Rivera and I attended a New Mexico PD regional convening on instructional materials with the PD Instructional Materials Bureau. And it was all around high quality instructional materials because we are going to start looking at our reading and math curriculum. And then Ms. Rambila, Ms. Gonzalez, and myself attended a meeting at Norton, New Mexico College, where we had the opportunity to work with PD and other entities and talk about our experience with teacher residents. So that was back on October 22nd. And one of my recommendations was for them to allow the teacher residents to be processed through the school so that they can start contributing to ERB, and for them to also upfront any benefits costs within their salaries. So that was very beneficial. Our reports for New Mexico visas came out on November 12th, so I encourage you to review those reports, just like Dr. Monahan shared with you. And I should have the link, there's the link down here for you to just click on it. Dr. Rivera and I also work on Cognia mid-cycle reviews, so We are accredited by Kanya and we got a 6-year renewal, and believe it or not, we're already at our 3rd year. So they did a mid-cycle review. We had to answer they just wanted to check on our progress on the things that they recommended that we worked on. So we went ahead and took care of that. And we submitted it on time by November 1st. And then I participated with Consulado de Mexico on Education Week to promote the Spanish Spelling Bee on October 28th. And then Mr. Benavides and I had multiple meetings with Canteen concerning some of their employees, and 2 of them ended up being removed. We participated in the audit exit meeting with Dr. Medina, Dr. Manehan, with Sylvia and Mr. Kyle on October 31st. And then I met with ACE's executive committee. And then I attended the APS Charter Leaders meeting at the International School, and I took Ms. Ramila with me. That was yesterday. So I don't know if you ever had the opportunity to be at the International School. It's way over there by Netflix on I-25 in Rio Bravo. It's a nice little school way out there that used to be all in portables, and now they have their own building. So it was very interesting to see their transformation, and they've come a long ways. They are getting rid of their high school. They will become a pre-K through 8 school. They said their high school was not working out for them. So it was interesting for us to be there and learn about what they're doing. They have increased attendance tremendously. So they were sharing everything that they've done to increase student attendance. We'll cover La Cosecha conference, besides thanking Zaira and Casey for their hard work in planning for that event. And then I'll let Mr. Benavides talk about facilities. Well, you already covered that, no, Mr. Benavides? With the report, facilities report?
Yes, I covered most of it, yes.
We did order a canopy for the little area over there by the pickup area. So it should be delivered early December. We'll have a canopy over there by the pickup drop off. We need it. I did register all board members for the governing council training at the conference, Public Charter Schools New Mexico State Conference, to earn your hours. And if you click on here, you can see information on the conference. And I'll let Mr. Benavides talk about employees.
So we had a couple of employees, Mr. Brito, who's been with us for quite a while. He'll be retiring at the end of December. We're hitting that in stride because we were able to pick up another math teacher. Mr. Luis Navarro is originally from Panama, but he did come from Texas Christian University. I think he's got his math endorsement to teach middle school math. So we're going to be working with him. We also got the Dominique Solis decided to resign as well. And then Miss Carla Olivas, we're working with her. She was a current teacher resident, and we're looking to move her into that position permanently. I saw some emails go by today by Dr. Moncada, working on licensure to make sure we get her properly licensed by the time Miss Solis leaves. Just going back to the La Cosecha visit, we did have 25 members from mostly Oregon, strangely enough. I think there was 20 from Oregon, 2 from Colorado, and 3 from North Carolina that visited our school. And they were they left with all good notes. They said nothing but good things about our school and how they enjoyed the visit. Dr. Moncada, do you want to go with the teacher residents?
So I met with the teacher residents and mentors from Norton with Dr. Rodriguez on November 10th. And she talked about next steps for student teaching. And then we also had some of them attend La Cosecha conference and 2 of them did a presentation. And then I've been conducting classroom observations and evaluations of all the teacher residents.
So just regarding the teacher evaluations, we have nearly completed all of the walkthroughs. We're getting to the end of them. And I know, I'm not sure, but I think, I'm not sure how many formal evaluations we've begun, but I know I've done a couple myself, and I think Saida has done some. We're going to be working, hitting those hard between the next 3 weeks, especially for those teachers that are going to need 2 formal evaluations. I think that's it. On to the next, the domain 3, instructional transformation. I think this one should have been yours, Dr. Moncada.
So we are working with the business office with Mr. Kyle Hunt to submit for reimbursement for all those mini grants that we got called Comprehensive Literacy State Development. We got $85,000 worth of classroom materials, and along with that came required professional development. We are almost done with all those requirements, so we should start submitting for reimbursements.
And then next thing on there, we're done with our first trimester, and we just handed out our report cards. But prior to that, we did have student-led conferences for all the students from 3rd grade on up. And actually, I know Mayra Moncada in pre-K, she made my own daughter do a student-led conference. I didn't think it was possible, but she was able to work through it. So kudos to even the pre-Kers did student-led conferences. I'm proud to say we did get about nearly 100%. There was some that we had to do online, or sometimes we even offered to go to their homes to do their student-led conference there if we need to, but then they changed their mind and all of a sudden they can appear at school. So it works, it works out well. I believe that is it. Oh no, there's some more La Cosecha stuff on the bottom there. Dr. Moncada.
So I just put a list of all the staff who attended this year's Cosecha conference. I did have 2 comp registrations, so we were able to send 2 additional teachers using those free registrations for La Cosecha. Like Ms. Carla said, Ana Cotrina and Carla Campos are 2 wonderful teachers who work really hard teaching math, and they implement A4 square cube, the framework, and they were invited to go and present at La Cosecha the work that they're currently doing at our school. And then Mayra, Moncada, Yahaira, Sandra, Valentina, and Jessica presented on pre-K and how they tied their core curriculum to GLAD. So they did that presentation, and then I was booked twice. I was supposed to present twice into different places. So luckily Ms. Ramila was there, and I had her take over one of my presentations. So she shared the work we do at Christine Duncan when it comes to advocacy for bilingual education. And then I went on to do another presentation on New Mexico's legacy, leadership, and advocacy for bilingual programs. So that was our experience at La Cosecha. It was a wonderful 30-year celebration for them. And they had all the experts in the field of bilingual education present, like Virginia Caldier and Thomas Wayne. They had Dr. Kathy Escamilla, Dr. Socorro Herrera. So a lot of great people that have supported dual language over time, David Rogers. So it was great to be there celebrating with them and with all these experts on bilingual education.
So on to domain 4, the news about the mariachi, Dr. Moncada.
So we are working with the RGC and we're pleased to announce we'll be bringing mariachi music for our students starting January 2026.
And then I'll report on the athletics. We're getting to the end of the girls and boys basketball season. They did make it to the playoffs, so I'm not sure they were playing tonight or tomorrow night.
Tonight at 7:30, and then if they win, they go for finals tomorrow.
Right.
That's for the girls, the boys lost.
Yeah, they play tonight at 7, I think it's at 7 or 7:30. My kids have been there.
7:30, Calvary, yes.
Yeah, Maria Maria will be playing.
Nice.
So just a little, we're in it's a little bit different of a bracket this year. They made the gold, silver, and bronze bracket, and naturally we went for the gold, the best of the best. So we might struggle a little bit more, but we're playing the top teams in the league. So just a heads up. So just with regard to bilingual seal and AP Spanish is going well. The second semester or second trimester is classified as semester 1, and then trimester 2 is semester 2. For AP, the classes, she's working them, she's pulling them. Ms. Fuentes is bringing them in on Fridays, Saturdays, and she's doing what she usually does. I know the bilingual seal committee members have also met on October 21st, and I do see that they're starting to do some fundraisers here and there to make sure that's a success as well. We're still advertising and bringing in students. We brought in just yesterday, I think, or we had a couple come in from Cottonwood Classical, so we're still getting some in daily. Students, I think we already went over the part in red. Dr. Medina, on to the fall festival. Thank you for the shower I received. Yeah, me pude decir que ya me bañé. It was a little nippy that night, but we made it through all in fun, and we did make a good amount of money. I want to give thanks to Benji and Mr. Mesa and the PE. We had originally thought of getting a dunk tank, but the dunk tank was $700 just to rent. So Benji and Mesa improvised, and I think we made it work. So thank you all for those GC members who were able to attend. I want to say we made in the vicinity of $6,000 that night. So did a lot of good fundraising. So the Thanksgiving lunches, I think as Sylvia had mentioned a little bit ago, I know yesterday we had the Thanksgiving lunch for the pre-K and kindergarten. We served between 300 to 400 meals. That's including families and the students. Today was 500 more?
500 yesterday, 700 today.
Oh, wow.
Okay, 500 yesterday, 700 today. We had to break it up into 3 days because it's we've grown so big. But I hope I left it in good hands, and it worked today. It seemed like the new system flows very well.
Parents were very
So yeah,
for parking and for splitting them up. So those were the comments that I heard, and the food was delicious.
Yeah.
So I heard a lot of positive feedback today. I did spend many hours there in the cafeteria, greeting parents, talking to parents, just celebrating with them.
yeah, that's a good time. They enjoy coming in, and we enjoy having them there as well. I want to give kudos to all the people that helped put it together, the cooks, there's Mr. Mudo made signs, the custodial staff for putting the tables, cleaning every 30 minutes, and doing the rotation, setting it back up for the next wave to go through. So kudos to all of them. We're getting ready right after this to do our winter program. The winter program will be another split. Half of it will be on the 17th, and then the other half will be on the 18th. 17th will be for the grades 3 through 8. And the 18th will be for pre-K to second grade, starting at noon and then dismissing at 2 p.m. And then students in grades 3 through 8 will be at the 18th. Part of the reason we had to split because the 3rd through 8th grade will be attending the Mariachi Christmas concert on the 18th. A lot going on, but I think that's a wrap for us. I don't know if we made it in time there, Dr. Medina.
I just want to add that Ms. Ida and I did a welcoming during the Thanksgiving dinner this morning and just thank the parents for being here and for all they do to support our community.
Mr. Moncada, I have a question.
Sure.
For our meeting for December, am I able to take the baby because she's still breastfeeding or not? Because they haven't posted anything for the canvas to do our hours there yet.
I would. Just take her with you. She's your daughter. I always took mine for the right
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah. And if they tell you anything, just send it my way.
Okay, okay.
We're now at 5:47. Any other board members have questions or comments about the report? You guys are busy bees. Thanks for all you do. Any other board members have questions or comments of our director and our principal?
Mrs. Hermano.
Anyone else? Okay, I'll move on to item A, budget update. Mr. Hunt?
Switch over for you guys. Perfect. I'll step up to Dr. Moncada's computer to take over the presentation. Please feel free to stop me if you do have any questions or concerns as we go through. Will be a pretty quick report tonight. We do not have any bars or permanent cash transfers at this time. Going through. Okay. Okay. Anyways, so as Sylvia had mentioned, we are low on cash. I'm sure some of you have heard from Casey, Dr. Moncada, or others. You know, we have been low on cash for the last 2 months. I will be going more into the reasoning on this later down in the report. But we ended October with $356,000. Of that, $200,000 was operational cash. But our monthly payroll with this new year is actually $786,000, which is what we disperse commonly for each month for our 2 direct deposits, our taxes, and all the associated insurances and liabilities with that payroll. Meaning our cash liquidity is at 0.45 right now, which is under the APS guidelines of 1. However, we are mid-year, and as some of the more experienced GC members can attest to, while not usually this bad, this is something that we experience at the beginning of every year just because with the change of the fiscal year, we're always waiting on reimbursements, and we have a lot of upfront costs that we have to deal with. Going down, we do have our supplemental reports. The first is the bank account reconciliation report for October 31st. This is anything that left or entered our bank account for the month of October. If you have any questions on any of these specific items, please let me know. Going through here, I do want to just point out, as I mentioned in the previous report, our payroll runs about $780,000 a month. Our SEG for the month is $736,000. That means that we currently are having to disperse more than our SEG brings in. and we're making up the rest with RFRs and other items like that, putting us into the current cash predicament. However, we have started receiving in a lot of our others, APS RFRs, our CYFB dinner programs, a big APS RFR down here. Oh, actually, that was the REC, and then we got the APS RFR afterwards. As you can see, though, for October, we took in $1 million, but we dispersed $1.1 million. A lot of that within September, October, and November. We have had a lot of backed up AP or accounts payable because of our low cash. So for the next few months, we'll be dispersing and receiving a lot of funds over that $700,000, $800,000 that I previously discussed. Continuing to go down, we do have our outstanding check report that does show checks that are all still outstanding. As you can see, we still have quite a few at the beginning or middle of October for some big ones. You know, we had ACES for canteen, which is $84,000, making up the majority of our outstanding checks. But this is something along with our cash flow that I'm checking every day within the bank itself. And then we have the actual reconciliation itself from the system to the bank account itself. Everything should always line from the expected general ledger to the actual, and does, and we have a zero difference at the end of the day. Going down, we have the report or the statement that shows all the actual items within the report, so you can edit or check and make sure that everything that I'm publishing within these reports can actually be tied back to transactions with our bank statement. It's part of our transparency. And going down, we have one last report for you. This is our NMPD cash report for the first quarter. So this is our financial report to the New Mexico Public Education Department. I also provide this report to APS as well, but the school budget at the PED is the main one who reviews this report. And this details our inflow, outflow, and cash positions of several funds or our buckets of money across our budget. I can zoom in there a little bit. So operational is our big fund. I don't know how to do like that pinch though. I was trying to go inward though. It was like maxing out right there. So $850,000 is what we entered the year with for operational cash. In SEG, we've received $2.2 million, and we have dispersed $1.8 million from SEG funds, leaving us with total cash of 1.2. We got to add back in liabilities for like our educational retirement board or other taxes that we haven't submitted to the authorities at the 9/30 mark, and we get to add it back. And so as of September 30th, we had $1.4 million of operational cash, but we actually had to loan out 1.2 to cover all of our negative funds across all the others. As you can see here, we go through a bunch of funds that we don't use. We have our food service fund. We have a minor state fund. Continuing to go down, this report does group all the activity funds together, all the federal funds. So this negative 42,000, that's representative of our Title I and our IDFB and other minor federal flow throughs from the district, or our CLSD grant as well. We have our direct fund, which includes Gear Up and some other minor funds, our local grant, which includes Ed Fellows, and then 2,700, mainly our pre-K. And as you can see, most of these funds are not actually negative, too large of an amount. As of September 30th, we only had $35,000 outstanding to IDFB and Title I. To pre-K at September 30th, we only had $70,000 outstanding and $14,000 to Ed Fellows. So where's all of our cash, you're asking? It is down in our capital funds. One of our big ones, lease assistance. That is $400,000 this year. We've recognized $100,000 of expenses for it with our 3 months of lease, but those won't be reimbursed until January or February of this coming year. 31,400 is our special appropriation for legislative, $140,000. We do have an RFR pending for that one. We did have to get access to the DFA CAPS program. And then we have our HB 33 and our SB 9 funds, which are both negative, almost $800,000 combined. And that is because these capital funds are based and paid on property taxes within Bernalillo and Sandoval County. And we do not actually receive the majority of these funds until December, January of this coming year, or June, July of this year, because we only receive those funds when all the banks pay their escrow accounts and actually pay the property tax bills that are due twice a year, typically in the winter and then once in the summer. So even though we show negative $500,000 in HB 33, over the course of the year, we're actually going to be receiving $600,000 of that to offset those costs of all the upfront construction costs that we have in the summer. And really that goes to our biggest point, which is just the summer construction and us having to actually assume and build out that South Campus an entire year earlier was a much bigger project than what we initially planned or budgeted for at any point when we were doing the initial budgets. When we first did that RFP, we were looking at just redoing bathrooms and not that traffic loop or any of the other items. And then we had to tack all of that on to make sure the South Campus was ready for the beginning of July. So as mentioned, Sylvia mentioned, and Mr. Woodard, Casey, we are really just waiting on these capital funds to rejuvenate our cash balance. And then once we have that, then we're going to reevaluate with our budget next year for continuing projects or where we're going to focus our efforts after that. However, you can actually go back to last month's reports and make sure this cash report actually ties out to our bank account reconciliation and the same items I presented to you then. But all it does is tie us to Wells Fargo and New Mexico Bank and Trust with our September 30th reports. And then I give a description of what we're waiting on for all of our negative funds. So fund 24,000 waiting on RFRs. I gave you Title I. 26,000, that's at Fellows. 27,000 pre-K. Then we have our lease assistance, our legislative appropriation, and then our property taxes across HB and 33 and SB 9. So, and that's what we really covered in the finance thing. In December last year, we received $250,000 of capital money between HB 33 and SB 9. With our increased student count from last year, we should probably be looking at a $320,000 distribution, hopefully. And so as soon as we get to December, a lot of our cash flow problems are really going to start clearing up, because then we'll have not only the capital monies, but then our lease reimbursement will start flowing as well. Are there any questions or concerns of the financial reports of the bank reconciliation as I presented them?
Thank you, Kyle, and I appreciate this opportunity. I'm concerned about employee benefit costs increasing. Tomorrow, I believe the Legislative Finance Committee meets with the Education Study Group, and they need to find money for Martinez Yazzie. And also, I do anticipate our share of employee health benefits to raise substantially.
Definitely. Raises from NIMSIA are something that we're always expecting. When we did build this FY26 budget, though, we had already had somewhat of an indicator of NIMSIA's current 2026 rates. So NIMSIA did release their rates for 2026 in October, which are effective in the system and our general ledger or our encumbrances. So the budget numbers with these encumbrances are up to date for at least this current fiscal year, but obviously as we approach next fiscal year, it really depends on that session, and as you mentioned.
Anybody have any other additional comments?
Kyle, do you think is there a chance that in December or January that we could go with a negative on a cash balance? But what you said no, right?
No. So that's a very frustrating thing that Casey and Dr. Moncada have been having to deal with the last 2 or 3 months is vendors asking, hey, when am I gonna get paid? I'm never trying to hold up vendor payments, but I am constantly planning out our cash flow to that we will never miss a payroll at any point. Because I will not issue other vendor payments if I don't have a guaranteed confirmation of reimbursements or funds coming in to actually make sure we pay our outstanding checks plus the payroll.
They have to probably at some point look to have a higher cash balance so you're not in that position.
Yes, yeah. Again, it was much of a perfect storm this year, just with, us having to take over that South Campus and us already planning for renovating those bathrooms at the same time. It really just made that construction project expand much larger than we originally anticipated.
Thank you.
Do you have anything that you need to vote on this evening?
If you guys could vote to accept the finance packet as presented, because it does include our bank account reconciliation for October 31st, that would be a useful motion.
I move to accept the finance report as submitted.
This is Sylvia, I will second it.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the financial report. For this, we'll do a roll call vote, please. Do we have a secretary tonight? I'll do the roll. Myself, I vote yes. Dr. Monahan?
Yes.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Ali?
Yes.
Elma?
Yes.
Melanie? Pamela?
Yes. Yes, sorry.
Do you vote to support the motion to accept the finance bill as submitted? Timothy?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Did Pamela vote? I couldn't hear.
Yes.
Yes, she voted yes. She's just a little, she's far into the mic there.
So that's 7 yes and 1 no vote. The motion carries. We're on to item B. Thank you, Kyle, for your presentation.
Of course.
We're now at 6:03, and the state conference, Dr. Moncada mentioned it. Dr. Moncada, what date do we have the room for? I forgot.
So the charter school conference, our room is reserved for December 11th between 10:30 and 2:30, or from 10:30 to 2:30. And it'll be the Puma room.
Thank you and the staff for taking care of that. Is there everyone able to clear their calendars to attend so we can have our board work session?
We did register all board members, so if you for any reason cannot attend, please let me know so I can send teachers in your place.
Yeah, Dr. Moncada, unfortunately, I will not be able to be there, as I already told you in my email. That's the same day of my graduation, so I can, sorry, but congratulations.
Thank you. I won't be able to.
Mhm.
For all board members, if you can't make it, it makes it difficult to have a work session if we don't have a majority of the board. So if you anticipate not being able to attend, I know you copied Dr. McCullough, but you'd also contact myself or Dr. Monahan, who'll be working on the draft agenda. Any further comments about the charter school conference? Moving right along at 6:05 to item number C. charter school renewal. I think we covered that in the CEO's report and the principal's report and the board report, unless anyone has something to add.
We got approved with flying colors. So thank you for all your work and dedication to our school, to our family council members, because thanks to your leadership and the support you've given our school, we were able to stay on track and get our renewal without questions from APS. Although we included 1,000 students cap and a high school, and they didn't question any of that. So thank you for your leadership and your support, and APS is very happy with our school.
Thank you, and thank you to the team. It was a comprehensive application. Any other board members have a comment on their charter school renewal? We'll need to do some planning and deep dive into how we added when we had additional programs.
Correct.
We are now at item B. Which is a request for an executive session. We will need a board member to move to go into executive session and state the purpose for executive session.
I can try.
This is Sylvia. I'm also the move to executive session.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
This is Alex, I second.
It's been moved and seconded to go into an executive session. If you are not on the board and if you're a member of the public, you need to leave the meeting at this time.
Thanks, everyone. If you need me, just give me a text or a call.
So we're moving into executive session at 6:07 p.m. Oh, I didn't vote.
Thank you.
Session.
Second.
Everyone in favor say yes. Anyone opposed say no.
Who seconded? Alex, was that you?
Yes, seconded by Ellen. We are now in executive session.
So let me.
I'll give you a couple minutes for the room to clear.
Have a good afternoon, guys. We'll see you.
Thank you, Mr. Benavides.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to the CDHE board room. We are in executive session from 6:10 p.m. to 6:42 p.m. We are now in open session, and I certify that the only items discussed in executive session are the items that were listed on our agenda. Is there any business before the board that any member would like to bring forth? Item F is where we're at now. So 6:46 p.m. The chair is looking for any motions related to the proposed amendments and contract discussions that were held.
So if we were to request a stipend, it would be something to talk to Dan Hill about first, correct?
I think what you could do, Ellie, if that's your pleasure, is you could make a motion to request a stipend pending approval of the candidate.
Okay, so it would be like a
vote tonight, and then you could get legal counsel clarification. Unless someone can text him and see if he'll join us.
I'm actually on right now.
Oh, Ben. So did you hear Allie's question?
I did. So and just to make sure I understand right, is the question, could the board offer a stipend to Dr. Moncada?
Yes.
I think, so generally the answer is yes. I think there are some constraints. So in New Mexico, in public education, employees have contracts with a set rate that's many times largely determined by your salary schedule. Head administrator is a little bit different, but the legal perspective is once the contract is in place for the year, that's what we've agreed upon to pay them. And so unless it's being a payment for something outside of the scope of their contract, a stipend wouldn't be appropriate. And so you can do a stipend, it would just have to be either for, additional work or work that goes kind of outside of the scope of the contract. So I guess the answer just depends on, how you're structuring the stipend. So, if it was for, additional duties or additional work, that'd be fine. The kind of examples give a lot would be around like teachers. So if a teacher is a coach, you could pay them for their coaching duties as a stipend because, being a coach isn't part of their contract and their, day-to-day duties as a teacher. Similarly for a lot of teachers, if they become like an instructional coach or like a grade lead, like a grade level leader or something like that, a stipend would be appropriate. And stipends are really up to the discretion of, in this case, it'd be the board. So it should be a reasonable amount. Like, use an example of a coach, you wouldn't pay them $100,000 to coach, your middle school volleyball team. That seems excessive, but it's, assuming it's not kind of way out of bounds, it's really just going to be at your discretion. It doesn't have to be based on hours or anything like that. So happy to answer more questions, but hopefully that explains kind of the parameters.
Thank you, Don.
So at this point, would it be like something that we have to add to the agenda for next month, for review how would we proceed?
I believe, and Dan can correct me, but I believe you would make the motion to place it on the agenda because it has to be a public comment, to place it on the agenda as a stipend.
Yeah, I think that's right, Dr. Medina. I'm looking at your agenda now and you have an item, but it's not for a stipend. It would be for amending the contract to add days. And so I think you would need to have, put this as an item on the next agenda and notice it properly for a stipend for the executive director. And I think that would be sufficient. You don't have to get into like the specifics of the dollar amount or the reason for the stipend, but as long as you give notice that that's what the action item is, I think that would be sufficient.
And that's meeting with on it. Next meeting that we have, we could do it as an item that we can vote on it, right?
Sorry, yes, that's correct. So if you put it on the agenda for next meeting, then you'd be able to vote on it.
Okay.
Would they have to name the stipend tonight, that they're going to award a stipend and then vote on it?
No, I think as long as you put an action item on the agenda for approving a stipend for the head administrator with a general description of what it's for, I think that would be fine. Like I said, I don't think you need to put a dollar amount on the agenda per se, because you're just giving notice to the public of the proposed action.
But if they were to do folks were to do a salary adjustment on days, they could do that tonight because it's on the agenda, correct?
That's correct. So your agenda tonight has, adjusting the salary to add days. It doesn't have a stipend, so that's why you wouldn't be able to vote on the stipend. But if you chose to vote, to extend the number of days tonight, that would be within the, notice to the public, and it would be appropriate.
Thank you.
What would the amount that was discussed earlier, what percentage of total salary is that amount? If they're 156, we make it plus 7, 163. Is that correct? My math correct, Dr. Moncada?
Let me look at what Kyle had on that. He had put this right here.
Well, I should be asking Dr. Monahan, who's a mathematician.
So it would be an additional 15 days. 15 days will put me at 168.
And if it was stipend, what would be that amount?
10,777.
Okay, any further comments on this?
I do have a question.
Board
So,
member?
I do have a question. So, we were looking, just to clarify, so we were going to be adding days to justify the increase in pay, is that right?
Yeah, because you can't, that allows us not to open the contract again. If you add days or if you add a stipend, it's different than renegotiating the contract, so to speak.
Okay, gotcha. So then basically we would have to, like, since we are able to add days today because that was on the agenda, we would, like, let's say, for example, we are adding 10 days to the contract, we can vote on that today, and then we could make a motion to request that the stipend be added to next month's meeting to compensate for those days. Is that correct?
It's one or the other, Alex. It's either.
Yeah, you have to do one or the other.
Or add days.
Oh, okay.
Or add days. If you decide to add days, that could be approved tonight. Otherwise, we would have to put approval for a stipend for the next meeting.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't fully understanding.
Yeah,
but I got it
it's
now.
complicated. If you go back to the agenda, it has to be what's listed in A, because that's what was published. If you wish to do something different, that's why it has to be posted.
Okay, but do we have to add more days in order to give him the stipend, or are we able to give him the stipend without the extra days?
So I think we can tonight, we can vote tonight to add days, and we can add either, I don't know if it was 12 days or 15 days, but it's something we can vote tonight for the days, to add the days, right?
Yeah, I can try to explain it. If you're adding days to the contract, that's within what you have on the agenda. And adding days to the contract's not a stipend. That's changing the terms of his contract. And because there's more days, you're obviously going to pay more. If you were going to do a stipend, it's not on the agenda, so it would have to be next month. And you wouldn't have to add days to the contract per se, but the stipend would have to be based on work that's outside of the scope of work of the contract. So it could be additional duties. It could be additional days that aren't included in his contract. It could be work on a different project or something like that.
Yeah, additional days would have to be, like time card would have to be kept on an agenda for other purposes. You already worked 220, right?
Correct. So 235. 15 days. No, coming closer.
So, well, we're at the point where we need to make a decision about item A. We're not making a decision, we don't have to make a motion to add something for next month or.
So going back to what Emma said earlier, she made a comment where like, you know, if Mr. Mongala doesn't, or Dr. Mongala doesn't have something to do, like he always looks for something else to do. So I guess like, I know we have to vote today to add, like what we can vote today to add dates. So if we vote on that today, would that go back to like what you mentioned, that changing the contract, changing his contract and putting us at risk for an audit finding, or does that make sense? I'm sorry.
So I think if you're adding days to the contract, you're changing the term of the contract. I'm not sure that that would necessarily open you up to an audit finding. Your auditor is probably going to look at it. I think where you would get an audit finding is if you're increasing pay without increasing, you know, duties or responsibilities, which would go for a stipend as well, right? So if you just gave a stipend for, you know, work that's already been done, or, you know, something that just doesn't really pass the smell test, you would definitely get an audit finding for that. You know, changing the contract mid-year, and I'm not an auditor, so I don't know, you know, kind of, I can't really say for certain, but as long as you're doing it appropriately and you're actually adding days to the contract, you know, like in a real sense, not just in kind of a on paper sense, I think that would probably pass muster, but it's definitely going to be looked at by your auditor. And you'd have to make sure, I mean, I guess the other piece that is more of a Kyle question is you'd have to make sure that it's within your budget and the, you know, your line items and everything like that.
Oh, okay. Thank you for the clarification then. So this is Alex. I'd like to make a motion to add 15 days to the contract, and with that, it would add a pay increase of $7,500 to Dr. Mongala's contract. Did I phrase that right?
Actually, it's 10,777 if you do 15 days.
Right,
Okay.
and that's not based on 68, it's just kind of like what he is looking at.
Okay, and then Kyle, this is something that Kyle has presented, so I am assuming it has already been looked at budget-wise since Kyle was the one doing the numbers, correct?
So we're still getting an increase on our budget based on student enrollment, but we won't see that till February maybe. And then we're also getting, we've been upfronting the cost for the lease on the building, so we should be getting that money as well. And then educator fellows, we would also be getting that money, and we started getting monies from the teacher residents. So they're just being costs that we had to upfront, and because of all the construction work, it seems like we're in bad shape, but we're really not.
Dr. Miller, where would we find 15 days in the calendar?
Can you say one more thing? Can you say it one more time?
Where would we find 15 additional days in the calendar?
I'm always doing stuff.
Yeah. So is there a second to Ellie's motion? So I'm discussing it further in a second.
I'll second. This is Pam.
So it's been moved and seconded.
Yeah, me too.
To add 15 additional days at 10,777.43, which would bring compensation to 168,846.43. Would this be in addition to your longevity stipend?
No, I'm not getting that one. I got that one like 3 years ago.
And you don't get the bilingual stipend anymore?
No, I don't. I haven't gotten that in years.
Okay. Is there further discussion? There's a motion on the floor.
Who is voting yes?
Are we ready to go to a vote? I am hearing no discussion.
Yeah, let's vote.
Okay. Let's do a roll call vote from our secretary, please.
She's not here.
Sorry, I forgot
Oh, okay.
am I
sorry.
secretary? I forgot I'm secretary.
I thought you were-
I'll do it.
Sorry, can you pull up the list? I'm sorry, I don't have it in front of me.
I'll do it.
Okay.
Dr. Medina? No. Dr. Monahan? Should I restate the motion? The motion on the floor is to additional days to amend the contract by additional days. Dr. Monahan? I'll come back to you. Sylvia? Sylvia?
Yeah.
Do you support this motion to add 15 additional days? Ally?
Yes.
Alma?
Yes.
Naomi?
Yes.
Pamela?
Yes.
Timothy?
No, I do not.
I'll go back to Dr. Monahan. Is he with us? Dr. Monahan? And Sylvia?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I was on mute. Go ahead, could you read? That's a
We are
Medina
voting on the
question.
motion that's been made by Alvin to motion, we moved and seconded to approve 15
Right.
days.
I'm sorry, I
additional
voted no.
contract.
I was on mute.
Yes or no?
I said I voted no.
Sylvia?
Yes.
Okay, so we have we have 3 no's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 yeses. Is that correct?
Correct.
Then that motion passes. So Dan, this is Dr. Medina, would we just write up a supplemental contract or an amendment to the contract?
I would do it as an amendment to the contract.
And so that would be on the agenda. Does it need to go to the agenda next meeting?
No, you already approved it, so but we would just draft it as an amendment. And then you would sign it as the chair and Dr. Mercado would sign it.
Okay. We are on item G. Is there,
Dr.
we are
Medina,
meeting December 17th.
I think you need a motion
Is
to
there any-
approve the PDP.
Pardon me?
I think you also need to make a motion to approve the professional development plan.
There you go, sorry. Is there anyone willing to make a motion to approve the PDP plan as submitted?
This is Alex. I'll make a motion to approve the KDP as presented.
Is there a second?
This is all, I'll second it.
It's been moved and seconded. I forget, I need to hear. Submitted plan, all those in favor say yes.
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 Yes. Opposed say no. Motion carries.
Yes.
We'll have to amend that in light of the additional contract days, but we can do that later.
Okay, I'm now at 7:07. Is there any comments or anything needed for the December 17th meeting? Dr. McConnell, can you ensure that the staff note on the website that board members will be attending the charter school conference, and there will be more, probably a forum there, but we won't be having a forum meeting?
I'm sorry, Dr. Medina, you were cutting. Can you say it one more time, please?
You need to notify the public that we'll be attending the charter school conference, and there will be more than 3 board members in attendance. We can have a quorum, but we're not doing speaking.
Diciembre 11. Yes, thank you for that reminder, Dr. Medina.
We have some vacancies. Well, we're at 7:08. Thank you, everybody, for a long meeting, and we'll talk to you in just on the, have a good evening, I adjourn the meeting.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, you guys have a great night. I'm gonna be waiting for my school game now. I hope.
Voy al juego, ya te veo. Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dan.